Welcome back to Movie Draft House. I'm your host, Mark. That's your other host, Jeff.
Hey, man. How we doing, Mark? We're back.
Listen, we're going to get into it, and I'm interested in your thoughts on this week's episode. However, Jeff, before we get into it, tell them what the theme is this month and what we watched this week.
It's Snake Month here. No, I wish it was Snake Month, but it's not. It's Train Month here on the pod, and so we're watching movies on trains. We're not on the train. The characters are, possibly. Some of them aren't. I don't think in Train Dreams he ever got on a train. No, he did several times.
He was on it. Yeah, he was on a train.
All right. So this week we watched Snakes on a Train, not a plane, but a train. It is a direct-to-video movie that came out in 2006. Based on my limited research, it beat Snakes on a Plane to market. Now, that's not saying anything. That's not saying that Snakes on a Plane copy this, because Snakes on a Plane kind of started first, got a lot of hype, and then they postponed the movie to add more shit to it and make it rated R, and then it came out. So in between that time, the folks down at Snakes on a Train Central decided, hey, we can maybe take advantage of this snake hype on various forms of transit that rhyme with rain and put out a film. And so they put out a film called Snakes on a Train. It is directed by Peter Mervis, written by Eric Forsberg, and stars AJ Castro, Julia Ruiz, Giovanni Bejarano is my guess.
Mm-hmm. Sure.
Now, Mark, have you watched this before?
Never.
Is this your first time with Snakes on a Train?
This was my first time with Snakes on a Train. And I don't know what depths of hell you pulled this movie from.
I don't know how you've made it this far in your life without seeing snakes on a train.
Listen, I'm pretty sure I've made better films on my iPhone.
That's impossible.
Just in my everyday day-to-day life. Jeff, it's no hyperbole. This is the worst movie we've ever watched.
Define worst.
Oh.
Is it the most boring movie we've watched?
Yes, almost, maybe. I don't know.
Okay.
All right, from top to bottom, how films are made, how they're written, the acting, CGI, everything, terrible. Like, this looks like it was submitted by a first-year film student at some community college. I kid you not. This movie is atrociously bad, and it is by far the worst movie we've ever watched, and I think we will ever watch for as long as we do this podcast. I was astounded by how bad this was. Like, we went into it last week, we were like, yeah, it's going to be bad. Who cares? You know,
it's definitely going to be bad, right?
Right. We went into it expecting it to be bad. I did not expect it to be this bad.
Are there any positives before we dive into the many negatives of Snakes on a Train? Were there any positives for you? Anything that you took?
No.
None.
None. No, it is
90-minute runtime.
No, it was too long.
Okay. Brief nudity. There was some brief nudity. Was that a
rape? I mean, that's kind of rapey. So the nudity
rapey.
Was bad.
Yep. Okay.
So no.
Okay. No positive.
I mean, this I don't understand how a movie like this gets made, and somebody paid to have it made. Whatever the production studio, the small production studio that paid these actors and director and writer, I don't understand. I don't understand. I mean, yes, it's 2006, so the CG is like meh. The expectation for the CG is meh. But like, I don't understand how a movie like this ever sees the light of day. Regardless it got made.
Mm-hmm.
How a studio pushed this out anywhere
Okay, studio might be strong, but
I mean, what about you?
it was direct to video. What do you want to take a stab at the budget on this?
$17.
It was an estimated budget of $1 million.
No, absolutely not. Can't be.
That's what the internet says, and the internet has
Can't.
yet to be wrong about.
Can't. That's crazy. That's
CG?
way too much.
They had to make a realistic, gigantic train-sized snake in this movie.
Realistic, huh? Now I'm watching this with my wife.
I was going to ask if you subjected her to this.
Yes. And like 20 minutes into it, she's like, "Is this a real movie?" And I'm like, "It's on our television." I mean, what's the context from the question? And she goes, "This is laughably bad." And I said, "Yeah, I had to defend you, Jeff. I had to defend you to my wife." And she's like, "Why did he pick this?" And I had to like kind of make up a story of, well, maybe he got confused. Maybe like he was confused and thought this was a sequel to Snakes on a Plane or a prequel to Snakes on a Plane.
Maybe
Maybe
saved your breath and be like, "I podcast with a fucking idiot." That's what you could have said, and it wouldn't have offended me. But I appreciate you going to bat for me.
But she was like, I think this is the worst movie anybody's picked on the pod. And I said, absolutely. It's the worst movie probably in existence.
Oh, wow. That's strong.
like, I haven't seen every movie ever made. I just haven't.
Yeah, but that's really strong. I think that's, I think that as most humans, you suffer from recency bias. I think the fact that you just sat down and watched this a day or so ago, you're still processing what has happened to you, and you've got to, this is the worst thing I've ever seen.
Yeah.
And that is a fair and reasonable emotion and reaction to a film of the likes of Snakes on a Train. It is not the worst movie I've ever seen. Now, granted, I've seen a lot more shit than you.
You make it a habit to watch shitty movies,
which is why this got picked. But I thought it was funny. That's why I picked it. It's because I think watching a Snakes on the Train movie is funny. But
did you laugh purposely watching this movie?
You mean, did this movie make me laugh at any point?
Like, in the midst of the movie runtime, did any part of this make you go, "Yeah, this is what I expected"?
The whole movie. Yeah, the whole
no,
movie.
absolutely not. You did not expect it to be this bad.
I expected a big pile of shit, and this is what we got. Now, I also laughed at this movie because of the badness, right? It is funny at parts. They have, couple things, and it's something that a lot of snake movies do, so that you can't really put this specifically on Snakes on a Train, because Indiana Jones and the Raiders of the Lost Ark does this too with snakes. They give everything a hissing rattle sound.
Yeah.
None of these snakes have rattles in this movie. They are all either garter snakes or boa constrictors, as far as I can tell. Neither of which are venomous, neither of which have rattlers. Fine. Fine. I get it. Let's keep everyone safe. No need to have an actually dangerous snake on set. But it always drives me crazy when things rattle, and I'm like, there's only a handful of snakes that do that. Now, hissing I'm not as sure about, but I've never heard a snake hiss. Have you?
I mean, they make the sound.
Do they?
With their mouth, I thought.
See, that's the thing. I don't know. But all that aside, again,
catch me on the YouTube if you're watching. I'm making the snake mouth.
A common thing, right? Is that in movies. They make things snakes. All snakes have rattlers. Fine. What made me laugh were the gigantic plastic head that they clearly only had like the back of the head, and it looked like shit on the front because you never saw it. And then the very beginning of the neck, and they'd film it like eating that one kid, and then like it would just pop up the same fake head, even though it was a different snake. And then all the snakes again are boa constrictors and garters, which have garter snakes have like a stripe. There's a lot of different versions of them, but these garters all have stripes down them, and they're a fairly small snake. And then the boas have very unique identifying patterns, and the big snake head was just gray, and it ate a kid, which was kind of funny. So I laughed at that, and then at the very end of the movie, there's like I'll talk about the plot in a sec, but there's a gigantic snake, and I mean huge. It's as big as the train, and it ends up eating the train. I thought that was funny. That was enjoyable for me. What I hated, because don't get me wrong, this is terrible. What I hated was the acting. But to answer your other question, I did expect this sort of direct-to-video acting. I just didn't expect it to make me cringe as hard as it did and hate it as much as I did, because there were many moments where I was like, oh, this is tough to get through. The easy parts to get
The
through.
entire movie was,
I'm
oh,
speaking
this is hard
now.
to get through.
You gave your opinion. Now, if you have questions for me that you want to continue the conversation, I'm more than welcome to hear them, but allow me to finish my thoughts on what is a film that maybe no one has watched before, and possibly no other podcast has taken the time to go and watch and review.
Ugh.
This makes us, like anybody can fucking go and review Forrest Gump, right? That's the easy one. It takes some real balls and just an incredible duo of talent to sit through, watch, and review Snakes on a Train. All right? You're not going to find this shit on fucking The Ringer's rewatchables or whatever the hell the big movie rewatch ones are. They're not going to talk about Snakes on a Train because they're pussies. We will. We will. Now, the acting is awful all the way through. And there's this... So, the plot is there's this woman who has like a curse on her, and it causes her to like emit like snakes, puking snakes out. And they trying to get to Los Angeles because her boyfriend's uncle can cure this shit. And so they're on the plane, and she's spitting snakes out, and they get loose and they eat people. That's the plot, honestly. We don't need that much more than that. But there are a couple subplots. I will say this. You mentioned in a Discord quote to me, you said that you don't think people took this seriously. And yeah, they're not. They know they're not making... This is a cash grab. It is clearly just trying to play off the hype around Snakes on a Plane and a cash grab. So I can agree with that. However, I do think they tried. I think they tried, because they gave the characters, there were a couple subplots, right? There's the whole drug smuggling thing with the two girls, and then there's the man who was flirting with the lady and their whole thing. Now, none of this is watchable, because, again, anything without snakes in it was awful. But I will say the movie is gory and gross. It does try to gross you out with its gore effects, and I was here for it. I thought that was fun. But at the end of the day, this is a terrible film. It's horribly acted, but it is not the worst movie I've ever seen. I would still, and don't hear this as anything other than it would still be very painful, but I would still prefer to watch Snakes on a Train over Clouds of Sils Maria, The Fountain, and actually possibly Requiem for a Dream.
No. And I'll tell you why.
You can disagree, but
No, I do.
if those DVDs were in my house and I had to watch one,
No.
I would
So-
put on Snakes on a Train.
So, and here's my reason why I would watch those terrible movies over this one.
Requiem for a Dream is terrible.
I recommended Requiem for a Dream. It's because those movies' production value were good. The production value behind those movies was good. The acting, subpar, better than this.
Yeah.
Bottom line is that I will watch something that is produced well over something that and it's still bad. Produced well, but it's still a bad movie. Over something that has the budget of a garbage can and is still a bad movie.
$1 million
Like this is, I mean, this is
not garbage can money, buddy.
I refuse to believe that. I refuse to believe that this cost $1 million to make.
Estimated, so there's no proof of this. All right.
It,
But someone
so
sat down, watched this movie, and said, "How much do I think they spent on this?" $1 million.
It is so, like, the editing in this is terrible. And then you can kind of see that in the rapey scene where cowboy cop guy, I don't even know who he was, is making this girl take off her shirt, and she does, and he's like forcing her to make out with him while he's grabbing her nipples and shit. And I'm like, why is this happening? And I'm thinking, why is this happening? But then it's edited so where she takes off her blouse, top, whatever it is. And then the next scene where, like, the guy comes up and puts a gun to the other guy's head.
Who is that guy? Like,
yeah, who knows? Who knows?
What was
But he
that
comes
about?
and he stops it, and then the next scene, topless girl's got her shirt back on, and meanwhile, like, 10 seconds went by.
first thing I
but
would
like
do is
it's
put my shirt back on. I've never had to
But,
put a bra on myself, but it would take me longer than 10 seconds to get a bra on. But
quite possibly,
no
yes.
practice.
I just like if this movie was on TV, and I don't know why it would be on TV on any type of channel on any type of device, it would I would see the production value and I would instantly turn it off.
Yeah.
Just simply because it does not appeal.
This. Like, don't get me
No.
wrong. I'm not throwing this on.
I'm just saying that production value matters when you're sitting down to watch something, and especially if it's an hour and a half, 2-hour movie, right? It has to look good in order for me to give it a chance all the way through. Like, I mean, this was a struggle. I mean, no part of this movie was like, I'm like, okay, let's see where this goes, or hey, that was kind of cool. Let's more of that. No, this movie, I struggled. I was like, I paused it like at maybe 50 minutes in, and I was like, holy shit, I got another 40? This is wild.
Hey, I had the
and it's
same
just like
problem. I'm not really disagreeing with you.
I would put on Clouds of Sils Maria. If I was in a room and you put both of these movies in front of me, Clouds of Sils Maria is going on because of the production value over this one.
And that's fair. I would put on this because it's less boring than Clouds of Sils Maria.
I thought this was incredibly boring. One is because of the way it was cut up and edited and all that. Like, there's no, like, the close-ups of the snakes. Like, I don't give a fuck. Like, why are you showing me the close-ups of these snakes slithering away?
To get these bitches on set. That's why.
But, like, I never saw, like, any type of snake action, right? The only snake action I saw was when that one was eating the little girl, and you just saw it from the back, and then the woman turning into the snake. Like, this, and we watched this on the Plex, right? And there was no subtitles for
Yeah,
You know, the Spanish
yeah.
language that's in this film. So I'm like, kind of like, wonder what she's telling him. Wonder what they're saying right now. And it really didn't matter.
No,
I didn't care that much. But
I knew when that was happening to me that I was like, I don't really need to know what they're saying, and you don't, because later on he's like, yeah, she's cursed by this thing, and you're just like, oh, okay, that's probably what they were talking about. And he says Los Angeles, and it doesn't take a genius to figure out what that means. So I was like, okay, I'm on board. Well,
well,
not on
in the
board.
movie starts. Yeah, the movie starts and they're speaking Spanish to each other, right? And then the guy comes up and he's I don't know who the fuck he was, but he dies.
I had a
And then they
feeling
get
he
on
would
this.
work for ICE, but anyway,
Maybe in today's age he would. But they get on this train and like they're by themselves again, and they start speaking English to each other. And I'm like, then why were you speaking Spanish to each other before? It didn't make any sense. It didn't make any sense to have Spanish dialogue at the beginning of the movie between these two characters when they're by themselves, and then when they're by themselves again, they're speaking English to each other.
Right.
I was like,
Makes sense.
what the? It's like, why?
I want to point out some things where I think the budget may have gone.
Yeah.
Actually, no. What I'm going to do is argue with you that $1 million, where did that go? Because, all right, I think the $1 million probably went for the sets, because I felt like all of these had to be built. Like none of them. I don't believe this was filmed on an actual train, and so I think all these sets, there were like 4 or 5 rooms. I think that they had to build. There was an exception, but so they the main train car with just those shittiest seats. Like this is a nasty train. Even before the snakes
Yeah.
get there. The seats are all torn up and taped up, and it just looks awful. I don't know if that's on purpose, but it's there. And then there's like a dining cart, which again, that was our whatever. We never actually see like the train cockpit. I don't know what you call a train cockpit, but that's what I'm going to call it. So we never get to see that. Another place where the budget went was the conductor has
Yeah.
a name tag on, and it's literally paper. Like it's not stitched on. It's like a sticker that they printed out on their printer. It's awesome. So I like shit like that. And then, I don't know if you noticed when they were making phone calls within the train. Nobody has a cell phone, for one. But when they got on the phone to somebody at multiple points, but when they pick up the phone, it's an old school phone handset that you would normally place in a dock. It's wired, for those of you that have never used a vintage phone. And it's wired to the wall, but it's just the handset. There's no like thing that you put the receiver down on. And I'm like, wow, that's weird. They must have had just half a phone around. And then I look closer, and it's clearly 3D printed. So they didn't even have half a phone. They 3D printed the handset, and then they found an old cable, and they plugged it and taped it to the wall, and they're like, there, that's a phone. And they did it twice. And the other thing is, the gun, I feel like, was 3D printed as well.
Did they have 3D printing in 2006?
No,
2005?
I don't know
whatever
how
this
they
movie was?
did it, because it did not look like a real phone. But they did have like where you pour shit in a mold, right? You ever like back in the day when we go to theme parks, you'd have those penny machines where you put it in and it crushed the penny
Yeah.
and it'd be a souvenir. But they also had a thing that would like actually make you a plastic toy or something, and it would pour it into the mold and make it. So I'm guessing that's what they did. But they had to make their own phone. Like either that or the paint they put on it. That's probably what it was. They still had one handset with no base and painted the phone and then taped that shit to the wall. Anyway, It was awesome. Um, but those are like the big things I noticed where the budget I think didn't go.
I yeah. I mean, even the B-roll footage of this was bad.
I mean, yeah.
Like the B-roll footage of the train on the tracks going by. It was terrible. Like it looked like it was shot with a camcorder, like a home camcorder.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. Like, you're not going to convince me that this is not going to be the worst movie that we watched this year,
I'm not. And I'm not trying to.
or the worst movie that we've ever watched.
And again, it's not my job to convince you. But it is not the worst movie I've watched. So
I believe you with that. I believe you because you've watched more terrible movies than I have.
it's not the worst movie I've watched, even for the show. In my opinion, does it have terrible production value? Yes, absolutely. It probably has the worst production value of any movie we watched on the pod, 100%. But that doesn't make it the worst movie to me. Like, I'm okay with shit being homemade. Like, I kind of find it appealing. That part's fine. I think this movie actually wasn't bad enough. Like, if it were even worse, it could have been better. Because I think they honestly tried. I think that the people that made they were trying to make it good, and I think that was a mistake. I think they should have just made it shittier. I mean, that's how I feel.
Yeah. Yeah, Jeff, do you recommend this one?
Hell yeah. Fuck yeah. When are you gonna get a chance? No. I mean, it's Snakes on a Train. You don't need to watch it. It's bad. It's awful. And it's not so bad enough that it's good to be watchable. Like, it's not like Drive Angry to me, where I find Drive Angry immensely entertaining because of the parts that are, like, crazy and insane. And I don't think there's enough crazy insaneness in this to help me enjoy it.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm same. This is it may be the worst movie I've ever watched. I struggle to think of a worse movie that I've watched in my lifetime, and nothing comes to mind. It's I am I don't know, man. This is
So I put the movie link, the IMDb link for Snakes on a Train into AI. I was like, how was this movie made? And it came back with just all the information I could ever want about snakes on a plane. So it's like, oh, he must have fucked up. There's no way he meant to talk about this.
even AI was like, "What the fuck, bro?"
I'm trying to get it to fix itself. I said, this isn't Snakes on a Plane. It's Snakes on a Train. I want to see what it says. Here we go.
Like I looked at what did it say?
Well, it says a lot. I'm trying to figure out. Initially, Asylum had no plans for Snakes on a Train, but when another project fell through, they capitalized on the popularity of Snakes on a Plane, which was set to release 3 days later. The film was
This
produced
movie
on a
looks like
modest
it was
budget
made
of
in
$1
three
million,
movies.
which is typical for many Asylum projects. That's the studio, if you will, that put this out. Filmed in Los Angeles, generally overlooked in mockbusters. Visual effects for snakes were effectively integrated, enhancing the film's horror. I don't think AI actually watched the film.
Oh,
Yeah,
it's bad.
It's
Oh,
it is bad. It is
It's bad.
exactly what I thought we'd get. Unfortunately, it was more boring than what I thought we'd get. So I do not recommend it. Mark, did you say you
No.
recommended it?
no,
No, you
absolutely
don't.
not.
Okay.
Don't put that juju on me. Yeah. So, anyways, next week we're gonna watch because I think that's the one I picked.
I didn't remember us even talking. I vaguely remember us saying it was a 5-week month, but I don't remember us selecting
Yeah.
the fifth movie. But
Yeah,
I think I was just
because
like,
it's a
you
five-
pick whatever.
Yeah, it's because it's a 5-week month. We get a bonus a bonus episode. We're going to watch Trans-Siberian, a movie from 2008. It's directed by Brad Anderson. It stars Woody Harrelson, Emily Mortimer, Ben Kingsley,
Oh, I do remember
and
that.
Kate Mara. I've never seen it. I've heard good things about it, but
Do you think
yeah,
it's going to be better or worse than Snakes on a Train?
I think by merely just existing, any movie that just exists that like stars anybody that I've ever heard of is instantly better than Snakes on a Train.
Ooh, really?
Instantly. Yeah. Like you name any actor that I've ever heard of before, and I'm like, yep, better than Snakes on a Train. Could be complete horseshit, but it would be better than Snakes on a
Would
Train.
you rather rewatch Snakes on a Train or sit through the entire Twilight saga?
And Twilight Saga.
Really?
Yep.
So 10 hours a movie, you'd rather watch 10
Sure.
hours
Sure.
of that as opposed to an hour and a half of okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Um,
That's a decision
it's
you
got-
can make with your life.
Yep.
I'd rather have the time back, frankly.
It's got pop culture relevance, production values infinitely better than this. It's got people I know in it. Yes, 100%. I would not think twice.
I'm going to find a worse movie than this.
Oh God, don't please.
All right, I won't purposefully do it. But I will find one. It just happens. That's how the shit goes, you know. I stopped trying years ago because, like, I used to try to win. Like, at the end of the year, I wanted you to admit my movies were better. And I've given up. And now I'm just like, fuck, I'm going to feed him as much bullshit as I can. And
Oh, good.
no, that's not
good.
actually the take I've had. But the idea of making you watch Snakes on a Train was fun for me.
I'm glad you had fun.
Yeah.
I'm glad you had fun. I'm glad this was fun for you. Glad you got enjoyment out of Snakes on a Train.
I think
But what you
It's
you
bad.
can get enjoyment.
I'll
yeah,
never
it's
watch
bad.
it
It's
again.
terrible.
I'll never watch it again. It's really awful.
But what's not awful is if you're watching on the YouTube, hitting the subscribe button when it pops up so you don't miss any future content right here on the channel. And if you want to follow the podcast on all your favorite social media platforms, we're at Movie Draft House. You can find us on Twitter, TikTok, Instagram, right here on YouTube. So give us a like, follow, and subscribe. Jeff, tell them where they can find you.
You can find me on the internet. My other podcast is called Chronologically. You can find that wherever you listen to your shows, except for YouTube, because that's too much work for me. But that's it. Yeah, that's all I got to pitch.
Okay, good. And Jeff, any final words?
There's too many snakes on this motherfucking train.